A sentence formation helps us bring variety in spoken or written language. Rewrite the complete meaningful sentence. Never split and write, or never write only the changes in your answer. Always rewrite the whole sentence. A simple sentence is transformed into a compound sentence. What happens? It replaces a word or a phrase with a subordinate clause. Remember, if you start something with past, everything is in the past tense itself. Or if you start with a passive, everything is in the passive voice. Hello students, and welcome to Prep School English classes. Today I will be handling grammar to you. The topic title, Sentence Transformation. What is transformation? Transforming something without changing its property and structure. So in the same way, in English, you are transforming the sentence into voices, into clauses, into tenses, etc. So let's look at what is sentence formation all about in today's session. So I will be discussing today what is a sentence formation, why do you need a sentence formation, what are the kind of sentences in English, and then what are the few tips that you can keep in mind to do a better kind of sentence formation. And then there are a few rules, and let's look at few examples and exercises. So with this, let's understand what is sentence formation. So what is sentence formation? When we transform a sentence from one structure to another without changing its meaning, that is called as transformation. Have a relook at it. When we transform a sentence, we are transforming one sentence from one structure to another, like an active to a passive or a present to a past. Okay? But without changing, you are not going to change the meaning. That is called as sentence formation. And what happens in a sentence formation? It is a method of expressing. You are expressing the same idea. You are not going to change the pattern of the sentence. You are not going to change the structure or what it means. You are expressing the same idea, meaning or concept in different grammatical form. So remember, while you do the sentence formation, the same idea, you are changing it in a different concept of grammatical form. So this is sentence formation. Now, why do we need to know a sentence formation? Why is it so important that we have to be perfect in sentence formation? So remember, a sentence formation helps us bring variety in spoken or written language. You can transform the sentence. You can present it in different variety, isn't it? So it helps us to bring variety while we speak or while we write. Also, it improves our own speaking and writing skill. It's for our own good that we learn transforming of sentences. That will help us to be a better speaker and to be a better writer. Now, dear children, the sentence formation brings in a lot of confusion. Alright, when you look into clauses, subordinate clauses, ordinate clauses, nothing will get into our mind unless and until we specifically go and learn everything in detail, right from what is a sentence till the end. Now, that is not required for you in class 11. So let me make it simple. Do not have to spend so much of time to understand what is this transformation all about, why so many kind of rules are put there and all. No, we will only look at the exercises. But before that, let me just talk about the different kind of sentences that you need to know. It might be confusing for you, but let us go along to understand few examples and exercises that is related to your examination. All you need to have now is how to score your full marks in your grammar part in your examination. So let's concentrate on the different kind of questions, the different kind of exercises and examples. So with that, you need to know that the sentence formation is a part of your grammar. Where does it come? It comes in your section B. Remember, it comes in your section B. And then it is a third question. When I say, is it only one question? No. It could be third, fourth, fifth. Do not know. Also, the marks allocated, definitely it will be 10 to 12 to 14 marks. Let me be very frank, because this time there is a change in the syllabus, I won't be able to tell you all perfectly what is the marks allocated and how many questions can you expect. So let's wait for a sample question paper to be released by the CBSE board, and only then we will be able to judge how many questions will come from this grammar part, from this sentence transformation in your section B, and what is the marks allocated. But for now, you keep it in mind, nothing less than 12 marks will be allocated for your grammar. So by knowing this, you also need to know few set rules. I told you what is sentence formation. I had told you why is sentence formation. By then, you would have picked up what is so important. What is a set rule there? Remember, always never change the meaning. If I say, I am writing, you can't change the meaning at all. Alright? So, and understand the question. Understand what does the question ask you. What is the kind of sentence transformation that the question is asking you. So these two things are the basic rules that you need to stick on. One is never change the meaning of the original sentence. Second one is understand what is the question asking you to do. So with this set rules, let me move forward to give you few more tips so that you can keep it in mind throughout. Understand the question clearly. That's once again what I'm going to tell you all. And then rethink the options of changing. Never go to a conclusion and rechange. Rethink. Is this okay? Why am I changing it? Is the tense fine? Is the clause fine? Am I putting it in the right order, right voice? So, you need to rethink the options before changing. And then, never change the original meaning. Keep it in mind. Never can you change the original meaning. If I say, I am speaking, you should keep it as I am speaking. You can't say that I am not speaking. Got it? So, rewrite the complete meaningful sentence. Never split and write or never write only the changes in your answer. Always rewrite the whole sentence and learn to identify the sentence. Always learn to identify whether it is a simple sentence, whether it is a compound sentence, or it is a complex sentence. So remember to identify whether simple, compound, or complex sentences. So with this, let me take you forward just to brush up the types of sentences that you have already learned during your schooling. So if you relook your kinds of sentences, you have three kinds: simple, compound, and complex. Now, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. These are the three kinds of sentence that you are already familiar with. You also know that simple sentence has one verb, compound will have two verbs, and complex will have verb plus two more verbs. So remember, when I say I am speaking, speaking is one verb, that is simple. Or when I say I am speaking and I am writing, So you have two verbs, speaking and writing, and it is joined by a preposition and. So that becomes compound. So in the same way, complex. Though I am speaking, I am thinking, and then I am trying to recollect. So that becomes a complex sentence. So to make you understand that simple sentence is a sentence that has only one clause with a single subject and a predicate. I am speaking. Teacher is speaking. So teacher is the subject and speaking is the verb over here. Next, compound. Here, the sentence has got more than one clause. I told you the teacher is speaking and she is writing. So writing and speaking, two verbs, and then you're combining it, making it a compound sentence with a preposition and. And then complex contains an independent clause. It has an independent clause, that is, the teacher is speaking along with one or more dependent clauses. The teacher is speaking along with she is writing, and also she is trying to recollect what she is speaking. So that becomes a complex sentence. Let me give you all few examples for simple, compound and complex. When you look at simple, read out the example here. John waited for the train. John waited for the train. What did he do? He just waited. One verb. When you go to the compound, it says John waited for the train and he read a book too. So it is a compound sentence because this is one sentence, this is another one joined with and. Alright, and then you see two verbs there. So that's why it is a compound sentence. And then when you go to the complex sentence, it is although John was waiting for the train, first sentence. Although John was waiting for the train for an hour, he was not bored. He was not bored. So that becomes a complex sentence. So remember, children, the basic thing that you need to understand when you have to transform in sentence transformation, when you have to transform a sentence. So remember, children, the basic things that you need to remember while you do a sentence transformation is understand whether your sentence is a simple, compound or complex. Understand whether it is simple, compound or complex sentences. So let me take you further to give you a little more detail about how do you transform one sentence to another. So the first one, let's go by simple to compound. Simple to compound. Here, replaces a word. While you're transforming, it replaces a word or a phrase with a coordinate clause. With a coordinate clause. For example, you look at this. Beside being intelligent, this is a coordinate clause here. Beside being intelligent, she was also smart. Beside being intelligent, she was also smart. Now, what happens? How do you transform it? She was not only intelligent. She was not only intelligent, but also smart. But also smart. So, you see that the word but, okay, replaces the phrase, the coordinating clause. Alright. So, this is simple to compound. Now, ma'am, do we have to by heart all this? No. It is only to bring your awareness. You don't have to even mug up anything. Just understand simple to compound. When you are transforming, a subordinate clause gets replaced by a phrase or a word. Okay. So that is simple to compound. Now going to what is simple to complex. Simple to complex. So simple stays the same thing. So what happens here? The sentence replaces a word or a phrase with a subordinate clause. With a subordinate clause. Now, ma'am, we are not understanding coordinate clause, subordinate clause. Don't worry about it. You will not learn it right now. Okay? Just understand, just relate the examples which I am giving it to you. So, it is the subordinate clause can be the noun, it can be adjective, or it can be the adverb. So, what did I tell you all? When a simple sentence is transformed into a compound sentence, what happens? It replaces a word or a phrase with a subordinate clause. The subordinate clause could be an adjective, a noun, or an adverb. Okay, so let's look at the example for this. So when you look at the example, I can vouch for his honesty. Now the noun clause here gets expanded to say I can vouch that he is honest. Okay. When you look at the next example, the bag is too heavy to carry. Now here, too heavy adverb gets converted into the bag is so heavy that it cannot be carried. So the bag is too heavy to be carried can be the bag is so heavy that it cannot be carried. Now, when you look at the sentences, the structure, properties, meaning, everything is changed, isn't it? It's only that from simple, you're trying to make it into compound. So, from simple, you're trying to make it into compound. So, from simple, you're trying to make it into compound. Alright. So, moving to the next one. Compound to simple. So, compound once again will have two sentences, two verbs. So, you are bringing it back into one verb. So, it is replaced by changing one of the coordinate clauses. Remember, compound, you have two verbs. You are bringing it to one verb. So, by using a participle or a verb, or by using a preposition of a phrase, or by using a gerund. Now, look at the example here. I walked down the stairs and I saw Annie, the librarian. So, I walked down the stairs and I saw Annie, the librarian. So, with this and, you understand that it is a compound sentence, isn't it? So, how do you change it? Walking down the stairs, I saw Annie, the librarian. It becomes simple. Walking down the stairs, I saw Annie, the librarian. So, compound sentence becomes a simple sentence. In the same way, Rina was sick but still smiling. Since there is but here, you have split the sentence, that becomes a compound sentence. Now, how are you going to change it? In spite of being sick, Rina was smiling. So, you're replacing this with a subordinate clause. Alright? In spite of being sick, Rina was smiling. So, compound sentence becomes a simple sentence. Moving to the next one, you must leave now, or you must leave now, or you won't reach the airport. Now, there are two sentences. One is you must leave now, joined by or you won't reach the airport. So, that's why this becomes a compound sentence. Now, how are you going to convert it into a simple sentence? You need to remove this, isn't it? So, you must leave now to reach the airport. You must leave now to reach the airport. So, if you look at this, while you are transforming, you are not changing the meaning. The whole idea is the same. What the sentence means is the same. But you are just removing, you are just using prepositions, you are using the participle and then changing the compound sentence into a simple sentence. Moving to the next one. Complex to simple. What did I tell you all? Complex sentence. It has verb plus two more verb, isn't it? So, this sentence gets replaced by a subordinate clause once again. The subordinate clause can be a noun or it could be a phrase. So, you will understand with an example when you look at this. That he is brilliant makes us proud. It's a complex sentence. Will we ever speak like that? That he is brilliant makes us proud. Okay, so it is a complex sentence. How do you make it into simple? His brilliance makes us proud. His brilliance makes us proud. So this clause is changed here. So once again, you will have complex to simple. Go to the next example. You will work when I order you to. You will work when I order you to. So, how do you make it into simple? You will work according to my order. So, this is a complex to simple. So, moving to the next one, you see compound to complex. Compound is a sentence with two verbs, and complex is a sentence with one plus two more verbs, isn't it? So, the second coordinate clause in the compound sentence gets transformed, and then it is made into the principle of the complex sentence. You please forget this if you do not understand. Go into the example. Alright, Rohan is the winner and I can prove it. Now, Rohan is the winner and I can prove it. What is this? This is a compound sentence, isn't it? Because two sentences are joined. So, how are you going to make the compound sentence into a complex sentence? So, this is where, the second coordinating clause you are making as a principle, that is as the first part of your complex sentence. So look at it once again. Rohan is the winner and I can prove it. The compound sentence, how do you convert it into a complex? By making it as I can prove that Rohan is a winner. To say that it is made into the principle of the complex sentence. What is made into the principle? The subordinate clause. Okay, so this is compound to complex. Now going to the next one. The last one is, what is the last one? It is complex to compound. Let me not confuse you. It is just the reverse of compound to complex. What you saw the example of Rohan, we are just making a reverse of it. So what do we do here? We change the subordinate clause. The subordinate clause is changed into the coordinate clause. How do we change it? You need to use the conjunction. Conjunctions are words with join, isn't it? Join two sentences. So the subordinate clause is changed into the coordinating clause. Let's look at the example here. If you do not hurry, you will be late. If you do not hurry, you will be late. This is a complex. Okay. Now, by using a conjunction, joining words, you can make it into a compound sentence. So, you must hurry or you will be late. You must hurry or you will be late. So children, these are few of the sentence formation that you need to at least know. Forget about applying the rule. You don't have to know about it right now. Okay. So I have taught you few of the sentences, how a simple to compound, simple to complex. Then how compound to simple, compound to complex. And then how complex to simple, complex to compound. So 6 kinds of sentence transformation. So just rewatch it. Just look at the examples and then try to relate it. So let me revise the 6 kinds of sentence transformation that I just spoke to y'all. All you need to do is, I will be off screen. You need to just pay your attention to the board. You have to read like simple to compound and then understand, focus on the example. It's a little revision which I will give you now. Please pay your attention to the board. So look at the first form, simple to complex. Example, she was shocked to see a birthday gift. It gets transformed to she was shocked when she saw her birthday gift. Moving to the next one, simple to compound. His greatest strength was his braveness. He was brave and that was his greatest strength. Moving to the next one, compound to simple. She had an ice cream and did not tell me. Now, how are you going to make it into simple? She had an ice cream without telling me. Next, compound to complex. We lost, but we played well. Although we lost, we played well. Going to the next one, complex to compound. If I don't study, I will not perform. How do you convert it into a compound? I must study or I will not perform. And then complex to simple. She did not write the exam because she was not well. How do you change it into simple? Not being well, she did not write the exam. For the ones who have felt, no, it was quite confusing, let go. You don't even have to break your mind to understand all this. All you need to know is, while you transform a sentence, remember you should not change the meaning. That's all you need to know. So moving forward, it is important that you understand what are the kind of exercises, what are the kind of questions that you can expect in your question paper. Alright, so I have done around 5 questions in today's session and I'll be giving you all more in your assignment papers. Now, if you understand the first kind of question, it says, read the conversation between two friends and complete the dialogue. Now, a conversation will be given. You need to read, you need to understand, I need to complete it. Now, while you complete the dialogue, it could be tense change, past to present or whatever, or it could be voice change, or there could be a modal change. So, what are the changes? I'm sure for students of class 11, with a beautiful English, with a beautiful language that you carry, this will not be difficult for you. You need to be just careful when you reread your answer if it is going well. So let's start working out the exercise. Have a look at the board. So read the conversation between two friends and complete the dialogue. Reena, did you visit the book fair on the Park Street? Richa, no, did you? So your question will start like this, and then what is that for you to answer will be the following conversation. Reena says, yes. What will she say? Richa, are there dash? Reena, there are books for all age groups. Richa, any idea? Reena, I'm not sure, but I guess it will go on for a month. Richa, then I must. So, this can be one kind of question that you can expect. Now, what you understand here, there is a conversation between Reena and Richa. Now, you need to connect sentence after sentence and then fill it, isn't it? They're talking about a book fair and one is asking to the other one, did you go there? What are the kind of books? How long will the fair be there? Oh, I need to go. That's all about this conversation. Now, did you visit the book fair? The answer to it is no, did you? So what will you write here? Yes, I did yesterday. Did you get it? Now for which, are there? Richa is asking, are there? You look at the answer here. There are books for all age groups. That means Richa is asking something about the kinds of books that are available in the book fair. So, Richa, are there books for all age group? Are there books for all age groups? So, what will she say? Any idea? So, she will say there are books for all age groups. And next, any idea? And dash. So, what is the answer to it? I am not sure, but I guess it will go on for a month. That means Richa is asking how long is the book fair. So, any idea how long is the fair? For the answer is then I must visit the weekend. So, that's how you have to connect the previous sentence to the following sentence and then you fill in the blanks. So this is one kind. Moving to the next one. Next one, exercise 2. What is the second kind of question that you can expect? Once again, read the dialogue between two men and complete the passage. So any kind of dialogue will be there. Either names will be given or it could be somebody who has met, right? Then they're speaking and there is a dialogue. So then you have to complete a paragraph. So have a look at the board. I'll read it out for you. Saga. Could I look at your book for a moment? Tarun. I haven't finished with it. You may have to wait. Saga. I can't wait long. I'm getting down at the next stop. Okay. So what is your question? What is the paragraph that you need to complete? Two men were traveling on the bus. Sagar asked Tarun dash. Tarun told him dash and requested him dash. But Sagar replied that he was dash. So, the question looks very simple, isn't it? The question looks very, very simple. But how are you going to fill in this blank? For that, you need to think. You need to think of your option and then you have to write. Remember, if you start something with past, everything is in the past tense itself. Or if you start with a passive, everything is in the passive voice. So understand that. So two men were traveling on the bus. Sagar asked Tarun. What did Sagar ask? Could I look at your book for a moment? So asks if he could see his book. For which, what does Tarun says? I haven't finished with it, isn't it? So Tarun told him that he had not finished reading. He had not finished reading. So Sagar says, I can't wait for long because I'm getting down in the next stop. And requested him to wait. Who requests him? Tarun says, wait for some time, let me read and let me give you the book. For which Sagar says, but Sagar replied that he was getting down in the next stop. He was getting down in the next stop. So this is how you read a dialogue and then you complete the passage. Now your question will be, ma'am, should we copy the whole thing in the answer booklet? No. Your fill in the blanks will always come with A, B, C and D. Okay, always you will have the numbering over there. Now, you need to write, if this question number say is second one, alright, in the second one, if this is your A question, you write inside the margin, second one A and A, B, C, D and the answers only. So, this was another kind of question that you learned. Moving to the next one, exercise 3, read out the question. Given below is a set of instruction to be followed by a person suffering from cold. Now there is a set of instructions given. So use this to complete. Use this to complete what? The paragraph that follows. So there is a para which is following. You need to complete it. You are given a set of instruction. I'm sure in your class 10 and 9 you all have done it. Tea making or baking a cake, isn't it? How you are going to do it, whether presently you are doing or past tense. If you recollect, you have done this exercise. So let's relook at it now. What is the question? the instructions. So if I have to read out the instruction, avoid milk and milk products. Make a decoction of about 10 mint leaves in a cup of water. Add a teaspoon of honey before drinking it at bedtime. So these are the 3 instructions which is given to you. Now, what is the paragraph that follows? Milk and milk products are to be avoided. A decoction of about dash in a cup of water, a teaspoon of dash at bedtime. Of course, you will have more instructions, but just to cover up the space, I have given you only 3 instructions. So how are you going to answer this? The first one is done for you. Milk and milk products are to be avoided. A decoction of about 10 mint leaves to be made in a cup of water. A teaspoon of honey has to be added and drank at bedtime. So the process is not over. You are going to do it. Okay. So have a look at it. That was your exercise 3. Moving to the exercise 4. What is the question? Now, this is a headline transformation. Use the information in the headlines to complete the news item given below. Do not add any information. Heavy rains lash in Karnataka. There is a headline in the newspaper. Now, how are you going to transform? How are you going to expand this news headline? The heavy rain dash through normal life out of gear. So you can do this as the heavy rain which lashed Karnataka through normal life out of gear. To the next one, mild tremor jolts Indonesia. An earthquake measuring 4.7 on the Richter scale dash in Indonesia. So how are you going to expand it? An earthquake measuring 4.7 on the Richter scale brought tremors in Indonesia. So these are called as the news headlines, wherein you are transforming the headline into a readable form. To the last one, that is exercise 5. Do as directed. What do you mean by these words? Asked the teacher angrily. So what are you supposed to do? Change to an indirect speech. If you see the question, it is in the direct speech. So how do you change it into an indirect speech? The teacher asked angrily what he meant by words. Going to the second one, a terrible mistake has been made by a teenager. Change to active voice. So how are you going to change? A teenager has made a terrible mistake. To the next one, the sweets are delicious. I bought them yesterday. You need to combine the sentence and make it as one sentence. So what is the answer? The sweets that I bought yesterday are delicious. So these were few more do as directed. I think all these things you have done in your 9th and 10th standard. Now, the CBSE board, due to pandemic this time, has reduced by deleting most of your grammar topics. It could be voices or clauses or modals. So this way, we are not going in detail to understand each topic separately. But never mind, you have already learned the same in your school, especially 9th and 10th. You have done with all these grammar topics. All you need to do is implement those while you get questions this way. So with this, I will be sending you all as practice. You have to do some assignment, which later on I will give you all assignment sheets. So you need to practice those at home. Only then you will be able to perform well. So your next question will be, ma'am, can we score those full marks then? So I say, why not? only if you're careful while answering. If you think, if you relate the sentence, if you read and understand, and then if you answer it carefully, for sure you will get those complete marks. So, dear children, practice is important. Do as many exercises as possible before your exam. Yes, for sure, I will give you the assignment questions pertaining to your pattern of the question paper. Before we conclude, let's revise. What did we do today? We learned what is sentence transformation. We learned why do we need to know sentence transformation. We also got to know where exactly in your question paper does this question appear and what is the marks pertaining to this topic. You also got to know few tips and few rules, and then you also got to know the different kinds of sentences. Now, to score well, what is that you need to do? You have to practice. Only then you can definitely score well pertaining to your grammar from your examination point of view. Also, remember, be well versed with your fundamentals. Never neglect the basics of grammar, not only in English but any other language. It's very, very important when it comes to your speaking or writing. Remember that you have to be well versed with your fundamentals. That's all for today. Before I conclude, see you in my next session, that is Mother's Day. Until then, all smiles to you. Bye bye.